Hi, I'm Dr. Valerie Gerard, and I'd like to share with you today a ceremony that I've been doing by myself and with friends and students for many, many years. It's called the Death Arrow Ceremony. While this ceremony can be done at any time, any place, it's best if you can do it at the last day of the year at the lowest place in your area. So to begin, we find a stick. The stick is ideal to be about a foot, foot and a half long. You want to find a stick that's dry because you're going to want to burn it. Now, as soon as you found your stick, you put that right there, and you get your journal and you open it up and you begin to think about those things that you would really like to release in your life. So it could be things that are personal bad habits, or it could be things that are moments in the past year that you would just as soon let go of. Or if you choose, you can release things that you'd like to see change in the world at large. I particularly like to focus on things that drain energy from me and keep me from realizing my goals. So you're going to want to write them down in your journal so that in the following year you can look back and see how many of those things actually came into fruition in terms of you releasing them. Okay, now that we have got those written in our journals, we're going to want to transfer it to a nice piece of paper. And I've already done that. I've written mine out. You may write as many things that you'd like to release as you want. A really nice kind of vernaculum is to say, I do solemnly agree to release from my reality. And then you start writing out the things that you really like to let go of. Okay, now with that done, you put that aside. And what you're going to want to do on the death arrow is you're going to want to create a very symbolic gesture that honors, in the native world, the 4 directions. So to do that, very simply, because we're going to be burning it, we look around the house until we find 4 ribbons, one of each color of the 4 directions. So this is the color of the east, yellow, and it signifies new beginnings. This is the color of the south. It's the place of passion and heat and summer. Black is the color of the west, which is intuition, inspiration, and also death. And then finally we have the color white, which is the symbol for the north, and primarily symbolizes wisdom. So now what I'm going to do to make it easier for me is I'm going to take a piece of tape. I'm going to tape these together, and if you want you can glue them together as well or bind them together into a knot. So you have a tassel. Now you're going to want to put this tassel at the end of your arrow, like this. But first, before we do that, you want to take your piece of paper and you want to carefully wrap it around the shaft of your arrow. Like that. Okay. And then you're going to want to bind it with another piece of black string. So what I suggest doing here is having this so that available so you can finish it off at the end. And I like wrapping it in the same direction that I have put the paper on, just so that it makes it easier. I'm going to wrap it pretty tightly. So, and then you want to include in your wrapping the tassel at the end. There we go. And voila, I've constructed very simply my death arrow. Now, the next part of it is to determine where you're going to go. And I always recommend safety. The easiest thing is probably to go into your own living room, if you have a fireplace, and burn it there. However, if there's a safe place to go in your area, either a place with a fire pit or someplace very close to water that allows fire that's at a low point, it's very optimal to go there, either by yourself, or this is definitely a ceremony that we like to do with friends. So tonight is December 31st. We're looking forward to meeting down at the beach and building a bonfire. And we're going to do a ceremony where we evoke the presence of the four directions: east, south, west, and north, in that order. And after invoking the presence and casting a beautiful circle with our intentions and the participants, then one by one we will have a little talk about releasing and surrendering, and how it's so important to do this to make way for the good things to come in. It's like if your house is completely full of things, it's hard to have new things to come in. So this is a definitely powerful giveaway that you can do for yourself. So once you have your circle and you have your fire going, one by one, people can come up and do a little prayer to Spirit and to Mother Earth, honoring the four directions, connecting very deeply with what they wish to release. And with that in mind, take a very thoughtful moment to place their death arrow in the fire. And then as that begins to burn and crackle, really, even if you want to step back into the circle, really have your attention on offering up your intentions for release and surrender to Spirit. And this can be done with your particular version of God in mind. This is somewhat originating from the Native American tradition. However, it is definitely a beautiful tradition for all people. So I encourage you tonight, if you're watching this, or any night thereafter, to make a death arrow with or without friends, take it to a low point, and burn it, offering up all those things that you would love to release during the new year. So thank you, and Happy New Year.